My name is Carissa During, and I am the director of Considered Pouchers in Sweden. Filippa, would you like to introduce yourself?
Uh, my name is Filippa Althoff. I am born and raised in Stockholm, Sweden, the capital, but now I study in Uppsala, where I study double bachelor's in economics and statistics, and I'm 24 years old.
And I know that you used to be a smoker before, but now you've switched over to nicotine pouches. Would you like to tell us your story?
Yeah, sure. I started smoking like at parties, which was like my teenage rebellion, I guess. And then when I turned 18, I started smoking like a lot, like every day. I remember when I was second in secondary school, I went between my like the breaks of my classes, me and one of my friends at school had to go out to have a smoke because it was so like it didn't take that much time for me to get like hooked on nicotine. So then I smoked probably like one carton in 1 or 2 days, from the ages to like 18 to 19. And then when I graduated from gymnasium, which is the upper secondary school in Sweden, at my like party, I got caught by my mom and dad because they hadn't known that I was smoking. My mom was really, really pissed at me, and then she kept on insisting that I had to stop because it was such a dumb thing to do, and but I was really, really addicted to it. So I had tried like one or two nicotine pouches, but hadn't liked it that much. Probably because I've tried like the tobacco ones, and I did
Mm.
not like it at all. But then at like the same time in Sweden, which when the nicotine pouches, the white ones, they really hit the market. So it was like somehow it was like, okay, I'll try this one. And I kind of liked it. And then like for like a year or so, probably until the pandemic hit, I was both smoking and doing nicotine pouches. And then completely switched over because you weren't allowed to go outside in the same like in the same way, and like I lived with my parents, and like going out to have a smoke when your parents are right in the house, like didn't work, and I knew they were gonna be pissed every time I came in and like smelled like smoke.
Yeah.
Uh, so then I completely transitioned, and now I have been doing nicotine pouches for 4 years, like full
Mm.
time only. Um, that's like my journey, and I've been
Mm.
doing pretty much the same snus all the way.
Yeah. The
Mm.
same kind, the same
Yeah, the
brand.
same kind,
Yeah.
brand, and the taste,
Yeah,
the flavor.
we're almost the same age. And I remember when I was around 18, 17, nicotine pouches weren't that commonly found. I think I've never seen them around. Did you know about nicotine pouches when you started smoking?
No, not really. I think it really hit the market like when I had been smoking for like probably like in 2019, which is the year I graduated gymnasium. So I
Mm,
think that's when you started seeing them like every kiosk and at the food stores and stuff like that.
mm,
I had a lot of like my guy friends. They did like the tobacco snus. Um,
yeah.
so I was obviously in that world, and like you could buy that for them. Like if you're they didn't have the time or went by a kiosk when you were meeting them up at the pub. But
Mm,
like I think it was really like in 2019, 2020, that was really when they hit the market and became very accessible. So it was also like an easy choice because at first I did not need as much snus as I needed the cigarettes. So, and I
mm,
was 19 and did not have like a proper income. So that was also
Yeah.
like the economical part, like a
Yeah, like one
like a
package.
packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, one package of snus would last me way longer than a packet of cigarettes would.
Mm.
Um, Also, like that year was when Sweden banned smoking on, like if you go to the bar and you're sitting outside that year,
Yeah.
and that also like helps, I guess, because it was kind of a hassle to now you had to go out, like leave the bar and leave your things to go have a smoke. Whereas if you were doing snooze, you could just sit at the same spot.
Mm. Yeah, and since
So
were
like,
available and an alternative.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And if nicotine pouches didn't come to the market, do you think you still would have switched from like nicotine pouch or from smoking to tobacco snus?
No, I did like I tried it once or twice before, like when I was smoking, because like I think I ran out of cigarettes and it was a late night and like the only option. So I
Mm.
yeah, it was really if like the nicotine pouches hadn't like completely hit the market like it did, I probably still would be smoking.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah. So for those who are listening who might not be as well knowledge about nicotine pouches and snus. Snus is a tobacco product, a tobacco pouch, and it basically tastes of tobacco very heavily. While nicotine pouches, they don't contain any tobacco at all. Instead, they usually have flavors such as mint or citrus or sweeter things that are more appealing to the audience that don't like the heavy tobacco flavor. Um, if you would look back to your young self, if nicotine pouches would have been on the market, would you rather have preferred that you started with nicotine pouches than cigarettes, even if you never smoked before?
I yeah, I think so because of the way like less health hazards that come with like the only thing with the nicotine pouches is that I'm gonna get addicted to nicotine. But
Hmm.
compared to like all the cancer and lung and heart diseases you can get from smoking, I'm quite lucky that I stopped before like when I was 20 because like the odds of me getting really really sick now because of my smoking is they're probably quite low. So
Mm.
absolutely, I would have preferred that I started with snus,
Mm.
or nicotine pouches. In
Mm.
Sweden, we don't really distinguish between the nicotine pouches and the tobacco snus. So I call it
Yeah.
snus, like no matter.
Yeah, no, so does most Swedes. We're like it's kind of the same product. It's just a little different, but um,
Yeah.
in legal terms, it's very different. And when it comes to what it contains, um, and so among girls that are your age, do you think that you are alone in making this kind of journey, or do you think that or do many other young girls share that story?
I if I think back to all the people that I like, all my friends when I was 18, 19 who smoked, Uh, I think everybody has switched. Either they stopped or they have switched to snooze. Uh, because of it was like it was natural and like the smartest thing to do because it was like it's somewhat more economical. It's way healthier and it was way more accessible when you're like a student because you don't want to be like the weird one who goes out in the middle of a pre-party who to have a smoke.
Yeah. Oh, and that's true. I mean, but what's interesting is that in other countries, being the one who goes out to smoke is not a weird thing.
Yeah.
Most, or at least a lot of people, there will always be a group who smokes. But in Sweden, if you are the one smoking, you are the weird one. You have to go out by yourself during the party.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember because before I studied in Uppsala, I went to the Royal Institute of Technology here in Stockholm.
Yeah.
for like a 1 year doing engineering studies, which I did not like and I quit. But I remember when I started there, I was so in shock that I was the only one who like brought a pack of cigarettes, like when we were gonna have a pre-party and then go to have a banquet. I was like, and we were like 30 people at this pre-party, and I was like, what? Of course you have
Mm,
cigarettes.
mm,
Like, because that was where I came from, like in my high school years, but it was not like the same at all. So I think it's really, it has really, really switched the other way around from like it was faster in Sweden too. Like I remember my parents, for them, it's like, of course you can have a like you can party smoke, I guess.
mm.
But like in my generation, it's not like at all the same. And if it was
Yeah.
that, it has really like it went away quite fast.
Yeah. And these people at this party, did they not use nicotine at all, or did they use snus or nicotine pouches?
Snus and nicotine pouches. That was
Mm,
way more popular.
mm,
Uh, and I mean, engineering students quite nerdy, so most people did not, but those who did use some type of nicotine product were doing snus or nicotine pouches, not cigarettes.
so something that is very special in Sweden, really. How would it affect you if the EU would go ahead and ban nicotine pouches in Sweden?
I think I think I would go back to smoking, which is not the answer I want to say because
Mm,
I don't really want to do the put my body through the health hazards of smoking, but I don't like the tobacco snus, and like I don't think I would be able to quit.
mm,
I mean, I don't want to be doing the nicotine pouches for the rest of my life, but I've been doing them continuously for like 5 years, and I've been smoking or like doing nicotine for 7 years now. So
mm,
obviously, my nicotine addiction is probably quite a lot, quite
mm,
insistent. So I think if the way like the nicotine pouches went away overnight, I would probably go back to smoking.
mm, mm. I think that's probably the same for me too. I tried. I did go off nicotine pouches, and I was off them for like a month. But then I picked up smoking when
Yeah,
the nicotine craving hit, like came in, and then I started smoking instead.
yeah,
So that's very unfortunate. Would be an unfortunate future to see a lot of people having to switch back to cigarettes when they've found refuge in a safer alternative.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. It's really like I think at university, I think quite a majority does use nicotine pouches. And imagine if I don't think everybody who does them right now would go to smoking, but even like say a good part of them who do it now go to smoking. Like imagine the health hazards and like the health risks that big of a
mm,
population would be putting themselves through because when we've had a really good and safe option.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Filippa, for talking to us today. It was very interesting to hear your perspectives, and I hope the ones who listened also um, felt that they gained something out of this. So, thank you.
Mhm. Thank you.